In this video, I'm going to be showing you how you can use SellerAmp to do your Amazon product research, profit calculation, and a lot of other fun stuff that we're going to get into. SellerAmp is a tool that I personally use every day in my 7-figure Amazon business. So I'm going to go ahead and give you a super detailed breakdown of how to use the tool, how to research products with it, how to set up your settings correctly, how much it costs, all that good stuff. But if you're brand new to the channel, my name is Warner Fields from Fields of Profit. I'm a full-time 7-figure Amazon seller, and I first stumbled upon SellerAmp about 18 months ago, and it completely changed how we do business. So I'm super excited to go ahead and share my computer over here with you and get into all the nitty-gritty tips. Be sure to stick around so you can learn how to save a ton of time in your Amazon business. Let's go ahead and get into it. So I've gone ahead and pulled up an example product on Amazon just to show you how this tool works, and we'll get into all the fun stuff. So this is SellerAmp over here. It is a Chrome extension, web app, and mobile app. We'll go ahead and break down all that stuff for you guys. It's going to embed on pretty much every page that you're looking at on Amazon, and it can also embed on pretty much any other website that has product names and stuff. So for example, we can click the SellerAmp extension, and then it's going to also show up on the target page. In this case, it's going to search for the title in this case and try to find that product for you. On the Amazon side of things, you can use it to calculate profits, find products, and all that good stuff. But first, I know the question you're probably wondering is how much does it cost? It's going to run you about 17 bucks a month if you go annual, or 23 bucks a month once you're getting serious. Anyone who's on this plan is definitely making money on Amazon. And then if you want to go monthly, it's a little bit more, but still very, very reasonable. Still what I would call one of those fundamental tools that you can use for your Amazon business. If I was a true beginner, I would just be using Keepa and SellerAmp to start sourcing products. So that's kind of what you're going to be looking at to get started using SellerAmp. So let's just go ahead and start breaking it down. Let's look at the Chrome extension first. I'll go through pretty much every feature that you can use with the SellerAmp Chrome extension, all that good stuff. So right up here at the top, this is going to give you a lot of the essential information that you need about each product. As you mouse over it, it's going to show you the whole title name, all that good stuff. So you can see a pack of 2 in this case, see how much it weighs. You can see the ASIN, the UPC. These are copyable, by the way, so I'll use this pretty often if I need to like move data around or anything. All of these little icons right here also have extra data for you. So right here, you can see the dimensions of the product. This is useful if I'm ever trying to figure out, how much is this item going to cost me to ship, or how many of these am I going to be able to fit into a box, all that good stuff. This one right here shows you the listing description. This button can take you to the Amazon page. So if you're on a different spot, this is going to Google the title for you on Google, which I think is interesting. Can kind of help you determine where it might be profitable to source it from. And then this right here is going to open it up in the SaaS web app. We'll look at this here in a little bit, but this is kind of the very similar data laid out back on our web app. Right here is the quick info panel. You're going to want to have this enabled. The eligible box right here, this is going to show you if you're allowed to sell the product, or if you're not. All you have to do is be logged into your seller account on a different tab. If it says you're not eligible, don't let that stop you, by the way. It's super easy to get ungated these days. If you were looking for a specific ungate, if that's something that's holding you back from Amazon, don't let it. We've got a ton of answers for you in the free Discord that's linked down below in the description. The alerts panel right here is going to show you a couple different things. It's going to try to find out if it might be a private label product, if you might run into IP concerns. When you are logged into your seller account, it's also going to tell you if this item is dangerous goods or hazmat, so you can be aware and make sure that you're not going to run into any issues while you're shipping your products in. This right here is the BSR, or best sellers rank. If you're brand new to Amazon, basically the way BSR works is 1 is the fastest selling product in that category. In this case, it looks like we're looking at the 143,000th best selling product in the beauty category on Amazon, but this is still selling 72 times a month, right? So 143,000 products are selling faster than this one, and this one's still selling almost 100 times a month. Really shows you the kind of potential that's available on Amazon for you. The max cost right here, this is going to break down the most that you'd want to pay for this item based on your back-end settings. We'll get into that in just a second here, but I really like this. This helps me get a rough idea of what I need to source this item for to actually be profitable. Cost price, sale price is all going to be configurable. So, let's say, hey, I'm sourcing this for $8. Am I profitable? Probably not. I'm sourcing this for $4. Am I profitable? Absolutely, in that case. So I'll just go ahead and set that back there. Sale price is all configurable. So if you're looking down here, you go down to the Keepa graph and you're seeing different prices over time. You want to see where your profit might sit. So, hey, what happens if the price goes all the way back to $12? What happens? You're still making a little bit of money. Price goes back up to 15, goes a little higher where it was in the past. You're making a whole lot more money, right? So you can go ahead and play around with that. Make sure you're actually profitable on a lot of these items. Down here on the ranks and prices panel, this is one that I use pretty often. For example, right here, so we're looking at a buy cost of $5.50 in this case. Something I like to do is go in and press my 90-day or 30-day average. So in this case, over the last 30 days, the average price, how much am I making? So in this case, it goes a little bit below my profit standards, below that $3 price point. At 90-day, looks good though. 180-day also looks good. So to me, this looks like a pretty stable product where we just, it went down a little bit in the short term, but overall it seems pretty stable. That's something I like to check, that average buy box price, so that I know over time if I'm going to be more or less likely to actually make a profit on this item. You can see the lowest recent FBA price, lowest FBM, all that good stuff. This is something that I think is really cool about SellerAmp. It's going to count the number of net buy box changes. So anytime you see the price on Amazon change, this add to cart button, this is the buy box, and this is counting how many times that price has changed in a positive or negative direction. So in this case, over the last 30 days, there's been 32 increases of the buy box price and only 2 decreases of the buy box price. So this is something that can be really interesting. If you look at this at a glance and you see that it's negative 50 buy box price changes, it's probably going to be an item that's very competitive. In this case, we have way more price increases than decreases. So it seems like a less competitive item, something we might be a lot more likely to actually come in here and make sales on. The alerts panel down here on SellerAmp, again, is going to show you similar information to these top 2 we were seeing up there. Just shows you a little bit in more detail. So telling me in this case that it's not meltable, there's no variations for me to worry about, nothing super crazy going on here. And if you're logged in, it's going to show you if you're ungated to sell the product already, or if it's a hazmat or dangerous goods product. Super useful stuff there. The charts feature. This is similar data that you can see in Keepa over here, but if you want to just see it all in one place, sometimes I'll end up using the charts feature, especially on the web app when I'm doing some repricing, that kind of stuff. So you can see the charts over time, similar data that we can see on Keepa over there. So it's kind of nice that it's all built in here. If you do want to, change the date ranges, you can drag it around, all that good stuff. Just mouse over and get a good feel for how has this item done over time. Has there been, any IP complaints where there's lots of sellers getting kicked off? Has there been an increase in competition lately? Like, this is super important data that you need to see here on the charts. So in this case, like when I see this item, I see that green sales rank line kind of increasing a little bit, and I see the number of sellers slowly increasing a little bit. So when I see this item, it kind of sticks out to me as something that might start selling a little bit slower. And when we see that it's a peppermint lip balm kind of limited edition, we're going into spring, makes a lot of sense that this item's going to start selling slower. So that data is kind of lining up for us. Down here, this is the profit calculator panel within SellerAmp. This is where you're going to be able to see exact fee breakdowns. Probably some of the most questions I get is, how am I actually going to make money after shipping? How are people actually making money on these products? So getting a good idea of your costs is going to be super important. So you can go in here, plug in your cost price, sale price. You can flip that between FBM or FBA. If you want to ship directly to the customer, that's going to be FBM. If you want to ship to Amazon, have Amazon do all the customer service for you, that's going to be FBA. So a lot of times sellers are going to be more inclined to leave this on FBA just because Amazon's doing a lot of the work for you. If the item did qualify for small and light, you can also toggle that here. So that's something that I take advantage of a good amount in my business. So for example, on this item, we can see it's currently selling for $13.75. The small and light program on Amazon gives you lower fees basically for any item that's less than $12 or less than 3 pounds, at least at the time of recording this video. So for example, if we go in here and plug in $12, not small and light, we're going to make $1.37. If it is small and light, however, we're going to make $1.93, and then our ROI threshold is met. So you can see how it can kind of make a big difference, especially if we were buying, let's say this item is $4. We're not small and light, that's pretty good ROI. The profit's not great. We throw on small and light and now we're cooking. We got $3.50 profit. We got an 85% ROI. So it's kind of a no-brainer. Take advantage of that small and light stuff. You can definitely see all that here within SellerAmp. This maximum cost right here is going to be based on whatever you want to set in your settings. We'll run through all the suggested settings and that kind of stuff here in a second. Usually I'm looking for a 35% ROI or a $3 minimum profit per item. The total fees is also super useful, especially for you newer sellers to see where all your individual money is going. So your referral fee in this case, that's basically what Amazon's going to take on every item just for being Amazon, finding a customer for you, all that good stuff. The fulfillment by FBA, this is going to be what you're paying for pick and pack fees. Basically all those little fees that Amazon is kind of incurring to ship those items out to the customer for you, that's going to be passed along to you through the FBA fee there. If you do want to go ahead and add in any prep fees or inbound shipping fees, all that good stuff, you're absolutely welcome to. The inbound shipping, for me, I at least default it to 30 cents per pound. And that's about what I end up paying to ship to Amazon. So it's going to go ahead and based on the dimensions of this item, you can see it's very, very light sticks of lip balm. So it's only going to cost me, in this case, about a penny, right? If we throw a box full of 50 pounds worth of this, you could fit a whole lot of these in a box and it wouldn't really cost that much if you're shipping that through Amazon FBA. And then if you want to throw any miscellaneous fees or anything like that on here, you are more than welcome to do so. In this case, I usually have like a 10-cent miscellaneous fee for any poly bags or anything like that I might need on some of my items here. So to show you this next panel down here on SellerAmp, which is the variations panel, I went ahead and pulled up a different item that had variations. This is just a standalone product. So if you want to do stuff like selling shoes, this is going to be awesome for you if you want to get into clothing, that good stuff. The variations panel of SellerAmp is going to show you kind of a review breakdown per different size, per different color. We got the pie chart here so you can see that this, the white black seems to be the fastest selling color. The fastest selling size seems like it's the size 10 based on these reviews, right? Kind of rough correlation that the more reviews there is for something, the more it must have sold. So you can kind of figure out what might be the faster selling sizes, what might be the faster selling colors using the variations checker here. And this is is also configurable in that you can add ASIN, you can remove things from this. You can also go ahead and add different levels. So if you want to sort by different things, so in this case, if you want to sort by ASIN and then color and go from there, you're more than welcome to. So you can see right away here, kind of be a weird way to filter it in this case, but totally up to you, however you want to use the filters there. So then another thing you can do is also sort these different variations here. So for example, if you wanted to filter by reviews, kind of descending, so it would be the most popular different sizes, you would absolutely want to do that, see kind of the faster sellers, and then filter by the next thing if there's kind of a tie, right? So definitely take advantage of that if you're wanting to figure out what's actually selling between different variations. The Google Sheets tab is something that I take advantage of a ton in my business. So on this item, let's say, we were sourcing this item for a $5.50 price point, currently selling for like $14 or whatever we had it priced out there. If we want to go ahead and store this data, it's extremely important to store all of your data in your company. We don't want to let any leads slip through the cracks, anything like that. I have a SellerAmp for my team where this is just a bunch of their names. So they can just go in here, click their name. And then when they do that, so I'm going to do it for, let's say your name's Mike in this case, it's going to send to your custom Google Sheet over here. You can see it just loaded in there pretty quick. And we can custom configure anything we want on the back end of SellerAmp here. In this case, I've got this sheet set up for us to just, add export date, product name, ASIN, all that good stuff. Store how much I'm actually making. You can put a coupons column. So let's say you were buying this from Burt's Bees site, you had a coupon, you could take a note of that. All that stuff's going to be super important in the long run as you're scaling to make sure that you're storing your data super well. And that just kind of speeds up the process. Another thing I like to use this for is, this is actually a great example because it's kind of a peppermint, winter themed product, is maybe you want to look at this product again come August or September. Whenever you start thinking about sourcing Christmas items, you can just go ahead and click Christmas, and then it would send to that Christmas sheet, however you want to configure that for you to take a look at it. Come late fall, all that good stuff, you can look at it, see which of those items might be worth pulling the trigger on. So as through the year, if you come across an awesome looking Christmas product, probably don't want to buy it in the middle of July, but you might want to buy it towards October when the season's about to change, Christmas is about to start selling very quick. It could be a lot of fun that way for you to do less work just because of the work you've done in the past, adding those leads to an existing Google Sheet. The notes and tags section down here on SellerAmp is also pretty cool. You can just go ahead and add a star if you want to favorite the item. So for example, back here in the history, this is on the back end of the SellerAmp web account. When you're logged into the SellerAmp website, you can go up to the top corner here where it says history. Go ahead and load that. And then let's say over time you start favoriting a lot of the leads that are actually good for your business, something you want to come back to. All you'd have to do is click that and then search, and it's going to pull up everything you've ever starred. On top of that, if you wanted to go in here, and in this example, I just added a Christmas tag, very similar to what you're using Google Sheets for here, really up to whatever you want to do with it. You can just go ahead in here and type Christmas and then search. And then that's going to go ahead and pull up anything in your history that either has Christmas in the title or was tagged Christmas. So for example, you can see Christmas stocking stuffer, Christmas. It doesn't say Christmas in the title here, but we added that custom tag so that if we ever want to come back to it, you can go ahead and do that. So for example, in these notes and tags section, maybe you want to tag where you bought it from. And then if you went ahead and punched in Walgreens, all you'd have to do is just save that, search Walgreens in your history, and then you get a big list of everything you've ever sourced from Walgreens. So pretty cool. Another way to keep your data kind of organized there. The discounts tab isn't something I use super often, but if you ever have a discount you're using a lot, so in this case we had that $5.50 price point up here. If you want to discount that by 25%, you can go ahead and do that. It's going to automatically take that discount. What I would say I end up doing more often though is just going up here into kind of the cost price, and I'll just do $5.50. You can actually do math within the panel here, so you can just do $5.50 times 0.75. Right away we can see that would be what we'd be paying if we had a 25% coupon, just because it was that 1 minus the 25% coupon. Going back to middle school math there a little bit. The Arbitrage Hero reverse search panel down here is part of one of our integrations with Arbitrage Hero. If you have an Arbitrage Hero subscription, a lot of times it's going to find this title for you and try to find a source for you automatically. It's a pretty cool feature. In this case, I'm not logged into my Arbitrage Hero there. I would say I end up using that more on the storefront stocking side in the web app, which again, we'll talk about here in just a second. The offers tab of SellerAmp is one of the things that I would say I use the most. It's going to show you who your competition is. You can filter out FBM offers. So in this example, like this guy, he's shipping directly to customers. He's going to get a little less buy box than people who are doing FBA. Amazon just favors people who are doing that prime shipping, all that good stuff. So most of the time I'll have this filtered to just prime only, see what else is going on, unless you want to make sure there's no super cheap FBM guys out from underneath you. You can also toggle this by live and recent data. We added this change not too long ago to make sure that there's always relevant data for you to look at. So if the live data isn't loading for whatever reason, super easy to switch that to recent, and it's going to show you, updated hourly, very, very fresh data. And, not a lot's going to change within the hour. You can kind of scan that data. And then within the offers panel over here, you're also able to click on each one of these guys. So for example, this seller right here, let's say you want to click on them, and this is going to show you everything that they're selling in their storefront. So you can see their seller name, ID, rating, all that good stuff. And you can also filter this down to each individual brand they're selling, each individual category they're selling. So if you're a new seller in this example and you want to sell a bunch of clothing, but you're only ungated in, Nike, you could go ahead and click Nike there, and then you would only see all of their Nike products. So you can really focus down on whatever you want to be looking at through these individual storefronts here. This is going to be super useful when you're trying to find profitable items. We'll look at this in a second when we break down the web app, but let's just go ahead and finish talking about the side over here. The lookup details over here on the panel seemed somewhat less useful to me at first glance, but especially as you build a team or just source a bunch of items over time, this is going to show you the last times you've ever looked at this item and what cost you punched in up here to the cost price box. So this is actually really useful for me when I have a virtual assistant team on my main SellerAmp account. I can go in and see the last times we've looked at this item, and sometimes I'll see, over the last year we've looked at it 6 times. Here's how the prices have changed, and that helps me know when I'm getting a really good deal on an item. Or if you're looking at an item's particular sale that you look at a lot, you're going to end up looking at the same items over and over again. This is going to kind of help you track those different costs over time. And then if you want, you can actually even save that source URL. So I'm just going to use the Amazon link up here for example. You'd obviously want to use the website you were sourcing this item from. You can just drop that there, click save, and then anytime you look at it in the future, you're just going to be able to click your source and it's going to pull it up if you ever want to like restock that item, all that good stuff. The last couple panels down here are just the Seller Central integration. So if you want to add the product to your inventory or see if you've ever had orders for this ASIN, all this kind of stuff is just kind of quick hot links to take you to that information. This is going to be more useful typically if you're already selling that product, especially the orders tab. You can open up the product on Amazon, click that button and see how recently you've been selling this. And then the search again button would just be if you want to search something else. So in this case, Lego, you could search for Lego products and look at the same thing while you're still on an Amazon page. Not sure why you'd want to do that, but it's there for you if you want the kind of flexibility to do so. So then let's go ahead and talk about the settings in the backend, kind of a nice segue as well, because all these panels are going to be configurable from the backend settings of your SellerAmp account. To get there, you're just going to click up here, go settings. It's going to take you straight there. You can see we're running through most of the SaaS panels over here, but there were a couple that we didn't even look at. So if you're a European seller, you might want to think about VAT settings or European marketplaces, all that good stuff. I'm personally not qualified to talk about European marketplaces and that kind of stuff. So you're more than welcome to play around with that stuff if you are a European seller. SellerAmp was actually originally designed for the UK market. So that's another question we get a lot is, does this work in Europe? Does this work in XYZ marketplace? It's going to work in most marketplaces for you, especially if you're in Europe, you shouldn't have any issues. And then since then, we've just found a much stronger foothold in the Amazon.com community. So if you're in the USA, we are more than prepared to take care of your business there. So some of the settings you're also going to want to take care of in the back end here would be setting up your buying criteria. So on these items you're looking at where it was saying our max cost, in this case, our max cost would be that $5.57 for it to meet kind of our profit goals. That's all configurable. So, hey, if you have a little bit lower standards, you want to hire employees to touch the products for you, maybe you're okay with a $2 profit per item. Usually this is what I would suggest beginners doing is $3 profit per item and 35% ROI. So every time you spend $1, you're gonna make at least 35 cents in profits, basically how that works. You can also go ahead and filter this down by maximum and minimum BSR. So in this case, like I personally wouldn't probably sell any item that's above the top 2% in that category. Usually I'm gonna stay in like the 100K and below rank, but even in this example, like we're seeing an above 100K product that's selling decently well. It seemed like it was a pretty decent price point for us as arbitrage sellers too, since it's just 2 simple little sticks of chapstick going for $14. So you can definitely take advantage of that. It's gonna just flag this as red if it ever doesn't meet your standards. So in this example, if you're buying this for like $8, that's below your standards. So you can quickly see that you kind of need to find an extra coupon or extra discounted gift card, that kind of thing that might help your profit margins, actually be somewhere you're happy with. And the additional cost, we're looking at this a little bit with the cost calculator down there, but you can go ahead and include anything. So if you have a prep center where you're shipping items to the prep center, they're shipping to FBA for you. Usually that's going to run you like $1 or $2 a unit. You can go ahead and include that. And that way you're not going to be forgetting about that, actually making profit after it's all said and done. That miscellaneous fee, I think we talked about that a little bit, but I like to put like a dime or so on that, just so I'm not ignoring the cost of my boxes and poly bags, all that good stuff. And then inbound shipping, I would definitely recommend throwing on here. Put it about 30 cents a pound if you are not able to fill your boxes up to 50 pounds where it gets a little bit cheaper. Maybe put that at like 40 or 50 cents a pound. Really just whatever you've been paying on your most recent shipments, go ahead and throw that in there so that you're not going to forget about paying those extra fees there. There's a couple other things you can go ahead and configure down here. So if you've got set FBM costs, all that good stuff, get a little bit more into the weeds. So figure if you're playing around with these settings, you probably already know how to sell on Amazon a little bit. You can also play around with these settings down here. So we do have a mobile app. We'll talk about that here in a second. But if you ever want to store that location as you're scanning, you can remember where you found certain products at different stores, turn on dark mode, all that good stuff. The quick info, we added these not too long ago. We're able to toggle different things. So for me in my business, I'm usually looking at ROI data, but some people swear by profit margin. So if you want to look at profit margin, you can toggle that. It's going to show it there. And we can even just toggle all that data on there for a second so I can show you what it'll look like. So if we save and then head back over to this product, it's going to quickly update for us. So now after we added those simple data points there, we can see, the profit, or we can see the profit margin and our break-even price. So given this cost, what do I have to sell it for to make 0 cents or, not lose money, right? And then you can also add that configurable offers summary down there. If you just want at a glance to be able to see what your competition might look like, those can be good things to play around with as well. And then over here on the SaaS panels, again, these are all configurable. You can move these up and around however you want, turn each one off, turn it on. And then before you ever change anything, just make sure you click the save button down there in the bottom right corner. So you can go ahead and push through. And as we're looking at, it goes ahead and updates that information for you pretty quick. So you can see exactly all that new stuff you added to your account. So I teased it a little bit, but we're going to go ahead and talk about it now. Let's go ahead and break down the web app of SellerAmp. I'll just go ahead and start from the way that I usually end up at the web app, which is reverse sourcing products. This is honestly how I would recommend finding your first products if you don't have any yet. Just going to a storefront on this arbitrageable listing right here. Burt's Bees branded, kind of expensive, limited edition type thing. They probably just bought it from a retail store. And then based on information, we can go and click on their storefront. In this case, the top co is their seller. And we could see what other brands they're selling and then potentially figure out where they might be getting it from. So as we're going through, we can see category name, brand name, all that good stuff. But the way I like to use this is by looking at that max cost option. We just configured all that, looking at the offers, and then kind of figuring out if I'd be able to buy this item for that max cost option, and am I interested in competing with this many sellers. So in this case, there's 82 sellers on this listing, probably not super interested in competing with 82 sellers. So I might even just be able to continue on here, right? This is much faster than trying to do reverse sourcing without SellerAmp, because you don't get the keep a chart, you don't get all this data, and you're not going to see what the item's actually selling for. You're going to see the storefront price. So in this case, like this storefront's trying to sell these items for more than they're actually selling for. So maybe not the best seller in this case, but we can still see if they might have some good ideas for products. So this one, maybe I'm not sure, right? It's less than an ounce. Maybe we can buy this Kiehl's product for 17 bucks. In that case, I would just click the Google button here and see what we might be able to figure out here kind of at a glance. We could even just do the Google Shopping tab. And then over here on the Google Shopping tab, it looks like we got it for like 24 at Mercari. Really, we'd probably be looking for like a legit supplier, not a third-party marketplace. I'm seeing it for sale from like some third-party guys on Walmart. So this might be like out of stock, limited item type thing, but we're able to quickly kind of take care of that, search for the product on Google. And if you also ever want to shortcut to the Google Shopping like we're doing there, you can just go ahead and click that right away. It's going to pull up all that information for you. So going through this process and looking at these items, asking yourself, can I buy this item for $2.89? And then looking it up if you think you can. That's probably one of the better ways to get started. Just looking through storefronts, seeing what people are already having success selling, and trying to find the item profitable enough for you to actually go in and hop on and make money with them. The other side of the SellerAmp web app is going to be based on really just any product. If you want to pull it up, this search bar, you can plug in seller IDs, you can plug in ASINs. So if you want to look up just this specific product, you could just grab that and paste it. That's going to pull up all that information you're able to see on the Chrome panel pretty easy. So sometimes I'll do this, like I said, if I'm repricing. So I'll have, my repricer on one screen. I'll have all the ASINs, punch the ASIN into SellerAmp so I can quickly all at once see my cost price, see the keep a chart, and just kind of all in one place help me make a repricing decision. That's kind of one use case that I have for the web app. But beyond that, it's going to be very similar information to what you're able to see on the Chrome extension. So usually I end up using the Chrome extension a good amount more than the web app. And then as you're sourcing on these different websites, you can also use SellerAmp. We talked about it very briefly at the beginning of the video, but you can also use SellerAmp to help speed up your sourcing. So I'm just going to go ahead and find like a potential product that we might want to look up on Amazon. So let's look at, let's skip that one. Let's look at that. There was like a Neutrogena product there. Neutrogena tends to do pretty well on Amazon. So you can click the SellerAmp extension up there. That's going to automatically pull whatever title is there. You can also copy over any text, and you can just copy that, right click it, and then SAS search. That's going to SAS search the different information there. That's also available on wholesale spreadsheets. So if you have a spreadsheet, you want to look up prices of items, or if you're able to, depending on the site, sometimes it's a little trickier, sometimes it's pretty easy. If you're able to like mouse over the title of things. So in this case, I'm kind of just mousing over Ollie. I can right click that, SAS search, and then that's going to search for that title. So a lot of times that can save you the effort of clicking through to a listing. If all you need to do is right click it and then SAS search, it's going to automatically search for that item for you. So in this example of the Neutrogena makeup remover wipes over here, you'd be able to quickly at a glance see that, oh, Amazon's on this listing and this one and this one. And you can kind of quickly scroll through here and see if this might be a product that you could actually hop on, or if it's something that is too competitive. So I'm seeing a lot of these listings that are super high bestsellers rank, but Amazon is on them. Amazon does not share sales with third-party sellers usually, so you typically want to avoid it. But then you get down to a listing like this where you might be able to get, 5 of these. We'd be looking at, about $3 buy cost each with some other specialty things with it. So Target's not your source for this, but a lot of times this can help send you down kind of rabbit holes, figure out what might be a little bit more interesting for you to find from other websites, especially if you're like really close to profitable on one website. So let's say, we needed to find this item for $5, we're buying it for $6 over here. That can kind of send you on some rabbit trails where all you have to do is just grab the title, paste it into Google, and see where you might be able to find it a little bit cheaper just based on the information that you're able to quickly see over here on the quick lookup time. So the last aspect of SellerAmp I want to go ahead and talk about is going to be the mobile app. So this is a very similar to the Chrome extension, all that kind of stuff. And all you're going to need to do to get the app working is just simply downloading the app from the App Store or Android Store and then logging in with your existing SellerAmp account. So make sure you've already signed up before you download the app and all that good stuff. So then sometimes when I'm going out to the stores, or especially if you're a low capital Amazon seller, going to the clearance aisles, that kind of stuff is going to be a great way to stretch your capital, just going in, buying something for $1 that you can't buy online for that cheap, going into the clearance aisle. So I'll pull out the SellerAmp app here, and all you have to do is just shake it. It's going to go ahead and pull up the scanning feature. Just scan it just like that. It's going to read the barcode. And then once it does read the barcode, it's going to pull up all the information. So right over here, you should be able to see, in this case, we're looking at a 60 BSR for this, the Pokemon tin we just had there. We can see it sells over 11,000 times a month, split between some variations. So we'd want to look at the variations chart down there. Let's say we found it on the clearance aisle for $10. In this case, we would be able to quickly plug that in, see that we're going to make $3.50. Go ahead and pick that up and then sell that on Amazon. And then another thing that I like about using the SellerAmp mobile app in store especially is that in this case, let's say you just found this $10 item profitably, you can then go in and use the Google Sheets feature. So just scroll down there and then add it into one of those Google Sheets, just like we were just doing. Click your name, store all that information so that when you get home, you're not going to have to remember what did I buy everything for. It's all going to be stored on that Google Sheet for you. It's all going to be one pretty straightforward process to actually go ahead and get that inventory shipped out. So if you guys do not already have access to SellerAmp and you've watched this far, make sure you go ahead and activate your free trial down below. You can get 2 weeks for free. Go ahead and try it out. And that $20 a month or $16-ish a month price point is going to be well worth it. Just find one lead. It's going to pay for itself well over that. So make sure to go ahead and activate that free trial down below. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video and got a lot of value out of it. Let me know if you want to see more like detailed breakdowns like this, if you thought this was valuable. If you made it this far into the video, you're probably also interested in getting plugged into a community, plugged into some more free resources. You can check out our free Amazon seller Discord community down below. It's like 45,000 people in there sharing a ton of free information. You should definitely hop in there. Let me know if you guys do have any more questions about using SellerAmp. I'm super happy to answer those down in the comment section down below. Also, if you could drop a subscription, that would be awesome as well for adding some value to your business. But I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time.